Last fall, Elder Holland gave an impassioned talk to college-age members about maintaining our discipleship no matter what the circumstances.
Lesson number 1. For the establishment of Zion in the 21st century, you never check your religion at the door. Not ever. My young friends, that kind of discipleship cannot be. It is not discipleship at all.
When we are baptized members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we promise to take upon us the name of Jesus Christ and to always remember him. Elder Holland emphasized that this promise should hold true at all times, in all things, and in all places.
Look, it's easy to be righteous when things are calm and life is good and everything is smooth. The test is when there is real trial or temptation, when there is pressure and fatigue, anger and fear, or the possibility of real transgression. Can we be faithful then? That is the question.
So how do we maintain our discipleship when things get tough? And as Elder Holland admonished, not check our religion at the door. BYU Associate Professor Brad Wilcox recently spoke at BYU's Women's Conference on this topic, and he has some insight. We're glad you're here. And can we go clear back to the beginning for the example on this?
Yeah, I think if we look at Adam and Eve, we see a perfect example in the scriptures of two people who did not check their religion at the door. When they left the Garden of Eden, they were able to stay strong because they had protection, because they had prayer, and because they had promises. And those are the same things that we can have in our lives.
Okay, you've got some good examples on these. Let's talk about protection first.
Do you remember in Harry Potter, the very first book, and it gets to the end of the book, and the bad guy Quirrell tries to touch Harry, but he can't.
Right.
And then Harry asks Dumbledore, why couldn't he touch me? And Dumbledore says, because your mother loved you so much, that left a mark. It left a protection. And I think we can realize that because of God's love and because of Jesus's love, because they loved us so much, that also leaves a mark in our lives. It leaves a protection for us.
That's a good example. What about prayer? That's the next one.
Do you remember in Les Mis, as you look at the musical, Jean Valjean finds Marius and he takes him down into the sewers to escape from the rebellion and the danger. I think it's so interesting that it's there that in the musical he sings, "Bring Him Home." He sings a prayer. And it's not just in the world, but in the sewers of the world that he reaches up to God in prayer. And that's what Adam and Eve did, and that's what we can do too, and that will help us stay strong.
Okay, and then the other one is about promises. And how do these impact? What are they, and how does it impact us? Well,
again, an example from literature. Do you remember in the Lord of the Rings, and Frodo's going to go take his ring, the evil ring, to be destroyed in the mountain, and all of his companions have promised to help him, but they fall through, except his one faithful friend, Sam. And Frodo takes off to go on his own, and Sam says, "Where are you going?" And he says, "I'm going to go do this alone." And he says, "Yeah, of course you are, and I'm coming with you." And then he can't even swim, but he heads into the water because he says later when he gets in the boat, he says, "I made a promise, and I'm not going to break that promise. I made a promise, Mr. Frodo." And I think if we remember the promises that we make, it helps us so that we don't check our religion at the door.
And priesthood plays into this as well.
Yes, I think as we consider the blessings of having living apostles, living prophets, they also can come and help us. Their messages, their examples can truly bless our lives and help us stay strong, as Elder Holland challenged, in all times and in all places.
Okay, thanks so much for being with us and for your wise counsel. We'll have a link to Elder Holland's talk on our website at mormontimestv.ksl.com.